Solving a puzzle begins with the first piece. Some pieces snap perfectly together, others never quite connect. That's the thing about a puzzle. Some puzzles never reveal the complete picture. 10 years ago, we began with our first puzzle piece. His name was Brady.
Hello.
The first words on target. The first steps were strong, but soon those words were gone. The pieces no longer fit, and that is autism. Over the past decade, we've met thousands of people and shared their stories.
On my honor.
On my honor.
Their hopes.
I was told he will never look you in the eye, he will never make himself a part of the family, he will never show emotion, and he will never have friends. And that has stuck with me to this day. That sentence, he will never have friends, and it broke my heart. Perfect example, he's got every friend in the world inside those walls, and it's a dream come true for me that he's gotten this far.
Their lives.
What other people think of autism, they think, oh, autism's a terrible thing, and really, I think it's a great thing. I'm glad I'm autistic.
It's a spectrum of personality across Ohio and across this country. We've witnessed their passion and their power, their puzzle. Tonight, we continue our search for the next piece of the autism puzzle. Good evening and welcome as we celebrate 10 years of the Autism Puzzle. I'm Jared Smalley.
And I'm Ellie Merritt. In those 10 years, we have seen major changes in the autism community, from awareness to diagnosis, therapies to victories.
And since this show first aired, the diagnosis rate in the United States has grown from 1 in 150 people to 1 in 68 people, including 1 in every 42 boys. Autism is defined as a complex developmental disability characterized by challenges with social skills, repetitive behaviors, speech, and nonverbal communication, as well as by unique strengths and differences. There remains no known cause or cure for autism. If you'd like to learn more about autism during tonight's show, we've made it very easy for you. Our Call 4 lines are open tonight with experts from several agencies, such as OCALI, the Ohio Center for Autism and Low Incidence, Nationwide Children's Hospital, the Learning Spectrum, Autism Society of Central Ohio, Autism Speaks, and Autism Power. Give us a call, 614-821-4444.
And you can also join the conversation on our NBC4 Facebook page. Sean Henry from OCALI and Dr. Jackie Wynn from Nationwide Children's Hospital are taking part in a special Facebook Live conversation right now, and they welcome your questions or comments. You can head to our NBC4 Facebook page to join us. If you are watching in the Youngstown or Wheeling areas, you can head to our sister stations, WYTV or WTRF's Facebook pages, to join in there.
And we begin tonight with a first-of-its-kind study, the largest genetic study ever conducted on autism.
And it could be a game changer. It's called the SPARK study, and doctors right here in Columbus need more families with children on the spectrum to join.
Okay, ready? Up high.
A loving family with 2 beautiful boys, Sammy and Oliver.
Okay. Hi, my name is Sonic.
April and Aaron Miles have their hands full, and they wouldn't change a thing.
Autism has given us so much good that I wouldn't trade with another person on earth.
Yeah, Sammy and Oliver are so much more than their diagnosis.
Both boys were diagnosed with autism, something their family has embraced and celebrates.
Society needs people on the spectrum. There are so many people that you meet that have no idea they're on the spectrum at all, and they are great, wonderful people. They just have their own challenges just like the rest of us.
But they want to see a better understanding of autism, so they joined thousands of other families across the country in the SPARK study to help find answers.
It's very clear that autism is a genetically based disorder. The problem is that autism probably is influenced by hundreds of genes, not just one. It's not a single gene disorder.
Dr. Eric Buter is recruiting patients for SPARK at Nationwide Children's Hospital, one of 20 research sites across the country in the SPARK study. There are 10,000 families signed up nationwide, but they want 50,000. Researchers collect saliva samples of those with autism, along with their biological parents and any siblings. It's easy to do and can provide a wealth of genetic information for doctors, creating the largest ever research platform for autism spectrum disorders and to hopefully lead to new interventions.
Just like there are very specific kinds of cancers. We know now that there are very specific kinds of autism. We're just beginning to understand this, though. And just like one treatment works really well for one kind of cancer, it won't work for another kind. We want to get to this kind of precision. It's called precision medicine. We want to get to this in autism over the next 5, 10, 20 years.
And Spark is the first chance to do this on a large scale. The Miles family hopes by being part of the study, they can find answers, a better understanding, and unlock the puzzle that is autism.
Yeah, we just wanted to do our part to contribute to like a more scientific understanding of the autism spectrum, and so just being able to understand, like, you know, it's a genetic link, or what it's what it is, because that's just the first step to just truly like understanding and accepting people on the spectrum in more mainstream society.
I think it's important for people to know that I would not change my kids. I don't want my kids to grow up thinking that they need to be cured or they're a problem to be fixed. They are people that might need help with certain things, but they have so many gifts and abilities that other people don't have.
Such a beautiful family. Again, it is so easy to participate. The website for more information on the Spark study is sparkforautism.org/NCH. We have a link on our website to make it easy for you.
Now, a restaurant meal with kids can always be a little adventurous, but with kids on the autism spectrum, it can be a real challenge. The Ohio Center for Autism and Low Incidence recently partnered with hospitality students at The Ohio State University to help make a night out a little easier.
There's a lot of shame that comes with having a child with a disability. And with autism, where it's often invisible, people usually judge you and think it's a behavior issue and your parenting isn't correct. So having a place that you can just go and be comfortable and enjoy your family and not worry about what the whole world is thinking it's so important.
It's called Hospitality Listens, where autism families are invited to Ohio State's campus for a dinner, plus several fun activities before and after the meal. This serves two purposes. It teaches the children and their families about how to handle a potentially crowded or noisy restaurant.
3, 2, 1.
While the students learn some best practices on how to serve a guest with autism.
We want them to be here so they can learn and they can take this out in the future and apply it to their career, and then overall make the hospitality industry way more welcoming.
And coming up next, this company is, in a word, awesome. You'll see how a group of autism parents decided to take job skills training and make it their business.
A reminder for you, we have autism experts on our phone lines tonight to answer any questions you may have about autism, from diagnosis to finding resources. Just give us a call, 614-821-4444.
And you can also join the conversation on our Facebook page through Facebook Live. Head to our NBC4 Facebook page, and for those of you watching in Youngstown, Wheeling, or Steubenville, you can join on WYTV or WTRF's Facebook pages too. A local mom had a pretty good idea for a new company. She told a couple of her friends, and together they got to work launching their business, employing adults with autism. It turns out her idea wasn't good. It was awesome.
I thought this is a great idea for a company because there's nothing negative. And it celebrates who you are, uniquely as you.
And with that came the Awesome Company. 3 women on a mission changing lives. The driving force, Jackie Mahan, Megan Klein, and Kathy Borkowski.
My crib is awesome.
Yeah.
I love that.
So we have the ability to personalize any of our products and what people think are awesome.
They make everything from onesies and t-shirts to tote bags and art. But there's something really awesome about their employees, all adults with autism.
Got it!
80% of adults with autism are unemployed or underemployed, and the Awesome Company is on a mission to change that. It's personal, too, for Jackie and Kathy. Both have sons with autism and wanted to empower a group of people who need employment.
For me, it's for Matthew, my son, it's more about how is he going to have a full life? How is he going to spend the hours of his day? Is he going to have a job? And so I want to provide that environment so that as he gets older and other adults with autism are able to work here, that they have an enriched life.
On the day we stopped in, students from Bridgeway Academy were hard at work making buttons.
Oh, God!
And Sarah and Brendan were busy with inventory. Brendan was their first employee.
Once I got through the first few weeks, how to function in a work environment more. which is not an environment I'd really been exposed to.
People on the spectrum can struggle with the interview process and social interactions, and that often holds them back at work. Sarah says she's had other jobs, but they didn't go well.
Our social skills are like opening a can of worms. You just don't know what'll come out.
And that's just part of what makes them unique. Here, they can be who they are.
Knowing this, there's a supportive group and environment to be in, it's really reassuring.
But make no mistake, this is a business.
This is a profitable business, and we are actively seeking out the autism spectrum brain to help us thrive. It's a different way of how you look at business. This is not adult daycare, nowhere near it.
But they found that employees with autism are reliable, loyal, detail-oriented, and committed to doing the job right.
The employees that we have a way of thinking outside of the box that we have is very unique. They have brought solutions to us that maybe we didn't think of.
There may be some hiccups, but I don't focus on the disability, I focus on the ability. There is a disability there. We all have disabilities that we bring to the table. We all have things that we need to work on, right? But we acknowledge it, we see it, we find out what they are, but we're gonna focus on your ability. What can you do for this business to help us thrive?
What started as a side hustle for three friends keeps growing, empowering adults with autism to be awesome.
My mission, for real, is to spread happiness worldwide. Like, I take awesome real serious, and I want to celebrate people as they are.
Don't you just love them? They're not just surviving, they are thriving. Right now they have 8 part-time employees, but they hope to grow this to have full-time positions with benefits someday. Here are the t-shirts. You know, they do onesies and some art and tote bags, but here are the t-shirts. Everything is made with organic, recycled, or sustainable materials. That was important to them. So love is awesome.
And they're customizable too, correct?
Oh,
it's
yes.
your own name, whatever you want on there.
Whatever you want, they're going to do it.
Running may not be awesome for you, but it is in general pretty awesome.
Yeah.
You may not think of it as one of the biggest concerns for people with autism, but obesity challenges many families. And now, some parents and teachers are trying to build new habits. That story coming up. But first, this reminder, we have assembled experts from across the state tonight here on our phone lines to answer any questions you may have about autism. Just call 614-821-4444.
And you can join our Facebook Live conversation. Head to our NBC4 Facebook page. And for those of you watching in Youngstown, Wheeling, or Steubenville, you can join in on WYTV or WTRF's Facebook pages too.
The Centers for Disease Control, the CDC, says nearly 1 in 5 children qualify as obese. But among the autism population, it is far more common. A study from the Center for Child and Adolescent Health Research and Policy shows children and young adults with autism are twice as likely to be overweight and nearly 5 times more likely to be obese than their neurotypical peers. It is connected in large part to lifestyle choices, diet and exercise. We all deal with it, and it is not easy, especially for a person on the autism spectrum.
Put your shoulders back. A lot of times the kids get older and become young adults, and there just isn't the same opportunities for them to be fit. We see a big association between people who are overweight, lack of exercise, health conditions that are higher in the population of people on the spectrum and people with disabilities in general. Legs, arms, legs.
Ben comes to this gym ready to put in some work and see the reward.
I have to motivate myself. I feel like I'm stronger. I almost look famous after I do that.
You're doing great, Ben.
How much longer will we be here for?
Ben often asks if he's all done. After all, exercise can feel uncomfortable. That's the point, though, to challenge your body. But to a person on the spectrum, it's hard to embrace that strain.
They may not see the benefit. So for them to get up and go to the gym 3 or 4 times a week, if it's not something that they enjoy or it hasn't been put into a package where they can actually independently do it, they're just not going to do it.
So Peggy Mills decided to do some hard work herself. She left her teaching job in Dublin to open UFit, a gym which specifically serves people with developmental disabilities.
We don't just accommodate people with disabilities, we cater to them. All right, one more.
The clients pick their own visual schedule of exercises and learn how to motivate themselves.
Having the authority figure tell him to do something makes it a lot easier for the parent to do the reinforcement.
Unhealthy weight can stem from unhealthy, repetitive diet choices. Many people with autism develop patterns with food, unable to expand their palate, concentrating on high-calorie foods, lacking in vegetables and whole grains. Those children stand far more likely to show signs of type 2 diabetes, high cholesterol, and fatty liver disease.
And I don't think I've met a kid yet whose picky diet is about the green vegetables.
Dr. Jane Hamill-Lambert works as a clinical child psychologist at Nationwide Children's Hospital's Autism Clinic. She focuses on children and young adults who struggle with rigid diets.
I think we get a distorted understanding of how much food a kid needs. It could be visual cues, like it could be like shrink the plate and put the food on it. Create the visual checklist chart that says, you know, I've said the phrase one and done to some kids I work with. You know, dinner's got to be a one and done.
Other studies show many people with autism endure sleep pattern problems and gastrointestinal disorders, and it all supports the idea that physical health supports emotional health and developmental function.
Families have to believe it matters. I think that's one thing I try to work with families on, that there's real risk to continuing to have this much extra weight traveling with your kid.
The parents, the caregivers, the schools, the day programs, all of those people have to work together.
No, done.
Tired?
Of course, it's not just overeating. Some children take medication for anxiety or depression. That can trigger even more weight gain. Again, it is a test to any parent's patience. I've been there, but it is an important one.
All right, thanks, Jared. And coming up, he may be coming for Jared's job someday.
I'm afraid so.
How a young man with autism overcame bullying and isolation to serve as an inspiration for his town. But first, this reminder that we have the experts here on our phone lines tonight to answer any questions you might have about autism, whether it's about getting a diagnosis or finding resources. The folks from Ocala, the Learning Spectrum, Autism Society of Central Ohio, Autism Speaks, and Autism Power can help you out. The number 614-821-4444.
You can also join our Facebook Live conversation. Head to our NBC4 Facebook page, and for those of you watching in Youngstown, Wheeling, Steubenville, you can join in as well on WKBN or on WTRF's Facebook pages as well. Sports can unite people from all backgrounds. In Cambridge, Ohio, a young man with autism uses sports to unite his town and tell his own unique story.
As you can tell, there's a lot of sports memorabilia.
He loves a good story.
And then this is where I edit my videos.
And telling those stories.
What is up, guys? My name's Lil Webb.
Through video.
Sometimes there's like, when it comes to football and that, there's sometimes some stories of some people that are just really interesting, as it's like off the field, you'd never know about this.
There's no one better to tell Michael Weber's story than Little Webb himself.
I was diagnosed with autism. It's kind of like sad a little bit, but also kind of, you know, unique.
Michael shot and produced this video this past fall. It explained his decision to play football for the Cambridge Bobcats as a person with autism.
And like, what if like all of a sudden like the whole entire state noticed it, and then eventually that's what happened, and I was like, huh, how did...
Michael says he endured bullying and isolation as he grew up, just like many young people with autism. He says the decision to join a team sport changed his path.
Some of my teammates didn't even know that I was going through that at the time, and there's even some people that like didn't mean to pick on me back in the day, that like did, and they didn't know that like I was so affected by that since I have autism. And then after the video they were like, I did not know this and that, and then all changed.
We're in right now. I have my wrist tape with the puzzle piece drawn on. On the other side it says Autism Speaks.
He thought he could serve some role in the team, and it ended up he really became a inspiration on the team, I feel like.
His confidence and ability to jump in and not feel intimidated with the contact allowed us to feel comfortable to put him in situations and feel good about it.
And Little Webb did more than play. He inspired. The Cambridge community honored Michael with an Autism Awareness Night at a home football game.
Go Cats! The community came out and supported Michael and autism the way they did. And I think part of that was the exposure and the attention that Michael brought to it.
It's called a cutaway shot.
Yeah.
And a cutaway can be anything. Little Web Productions stays busy all year round. Michael shoots and edits highlight videos for the school's basketball teams. And when he graduates this spring, he plans to follow his passion as his profession. He's headed to college next year in Zanesville.
As a sports fanatic, it's like really cool to see those like last second shots or like big huge slam dunks or aim-lane touchdowns. And when it comes to video editing with those, it's really cool to try to come up with like a really neat way to show how that play happened.
I feel very honored to have that relationship with him. That's something that's not going to last longer than a 10-game season. It's going to be a lifetime that I'll always remember this.
With the Bobcats.
Very special young man. Michael graduates from high school next month. And if you look up Lil Web, that's Lil Web on YouTube, you can see even more of his very impressive work.
If you'd like to see that story again or any of the resources that we talked about tonight, head to our website, NBC4i.com.
And look for the Autism Puzzle under our Local For You tab. Thanks for joining us tonight. Appreciate you joining us for the Autism Puzzle.